Sairam everyone, and welcome back to political science class, children. So today we'll be continuing our same lesson, that is electoral politics. Okay, now can a party, children, can a party win an election and come to power? Not because it has popular support, but through electoral malpractices. In the last class, we stopped here. We stopped with this question. Am I right? Yes. Let us carefully examine various aspects of this questions. So we will begin with Independent Election Commission. Look at your monitor. Independent Election Commission. Children, we have studied that during elections, I'm talking about both elections, Vidhan Sabha elections and also Lok Sabha elections. These candidates, they are not allowed to use government facilities, right? Government offices, government vehicles, government officers. No one is allowed to use it. So there was restriction on the party and also on the candidate, right? Now there's a restriction on the party and the candidate. Now, so who takes care of all this? Who takes care that the candidate and the party does not use all this or uses malpractices or not? Who takes care of all this? One simple way of checking whether elections are considered or whether the elections are conducted in a fair manner or not is to look at who conducts this election. Are they independent of government? Elections are independent of government? Or can the ruling party or government influence or pressurize them? Do they have enough powers to be able to conduct free and fair elections? Do they actually use their powers? And the answer to this question is yes. The answer to all these questions are yes, that. The answer is positive for all the questions, especially for our country. Do you know who conducts election in our country? Government? No, not at all. In our country, elections are conducted by an independent and very powerful, not this powerful, okay, ruling power, different power I'm talking about, very powerful. And who's that? It is none other than Election Commission. In short, we call it as EC, Election Commission. This Election Commission enjoys same kind of independence as the judiciary enjoys. The Chief Election Commission is appointed by the President of our country, India. I'm talking about our country. So it is the President who appoints the Chief Election Commissioner. Now, they do not, favor any candidate or any party. Now, children, though this Chief Election Commissioner, is appointed by the President, he is not answerable to the president or to the government. He is appointed by the president, but he is not answerable. Even if the ruling party or the government does not like what the commissioner does, it is impossible for them to remove it. It is just impossible for them to remove this Chief Election Commission because he has that powers. If it is not easy actually, they would others what they would have done, this election commissioner, if they didn't have any power, okay, what would have happened? They would have, if in the fear of their jobs, their posts, they would have they would have worked under the pressure of the political parties or the candidates. But now they are having power, so these political parties or the candidates couldn't harm them. Okay, now children, let us compare election commission of India with that of the world. Let me tell you here, children, very few election commissions in the world have such wide ranging powers as the election commission of India. See, that is the election commission takes all decisions on every aspect of conduct and also control of elections. You see, right from the day of the announcement of elections to the day of declarations of results of this election, they handle all full process of election, you can see. It implements, this EC implements the code of conduct. That is a set of rules to be followed by the parties and the candidates. Yes. Okay. And also punishes any candidate or all those candidates or parties that violates the code of conduct. They also tell the do's and the don'ts that are to be abided by the parties and the candidates. Now what happens? During the election period, children, the election commissioner can order the government to follow some guidelines. They can also direct the government. This is to prevent the use and also misuse of government powers to enhance its chances to win election, to even to transfer the government officials. Some are favored, at times the political party, the ruling political party in a constitution may be biased towards some government official, so they won't allow him to he will be pressurized or bribed to work for the party. So the election commission can always transfer such government officials. Okay, one more important thing I wanted to tell you, one more important point, and is when the government officers are given election duties. Yeah, government, this election duties are given to mostly to the government officers. Okay, they have to work under the control of the election commission. These government officers who are given election duties, they have to work under the election commission and not the government. Remember this is a very important point. Now, the election commission has began to exercise all its powers in the last 15 years, you can say, over the last 15 years. Also expanded their powers. They've also started expanding their power. It has become common that the election commission, reprimand or criticize the government and also the administration for their, you can say, lapse or failure. When these election officials have some, they have same opinion, all the officers, election officers, if they have same opinion about the voting, about the polling, say that the polling was not fair in some booths or even the entire constituency, they order a repoll, that elections are conducted again in that constituency or that particular booth. Many parties at times disagree or do not like what the election commissioner does, but they have no options left. They have to obey this election commission. This would have not been happened if the election commission was not independent and powerful. Instead, the election commission would have been forced to leave the job and a new commission would have been elected. If the election commission was not given so much of power, political parties may have thrown it out. Would not have obeyed it. You are getting me? Popular participation. This is another aspect. Another way to check the quality of election process, to see whether the people participate in it with enthusiasm, and if the election process is not free and fair, people will not continue to participate in it. So the quality of election is very important to make people participate. Now, yes, voters turnout figure. This is an important point as the people's participation in election is actually measured by the turnout figures of the people. Turnout means the people who went out to cast their votes. This turnout indicates the percentage of eligible voters who actually cast their vote. Let us talk about Europe and also North America. Over last 50 years, the turnout in Europe and North America has declined, has come down. And in India, the turnout has remained stable or actually gone up. In India, the poor, the illiterate, and the underprivileged, these people from this section, they vote in large proportion. This proportion is more as compared to the rich and privileged people, privileged sections. But in the United States of America, the poor people African Americans and the Hispanics. Now, Hispanics are the Spanish speaking people of Latin America living in US. So this poor people, this African American and Hispanics, they vote less than the rich people and the white people. Okay, less than the rich people and the white people. Children, India, they give lot of importance to elections. The reason is they have the feeling that they can pressurize the political parties to adopt policies and programs which are favorable for them. They also feel that their vote is important in matters in the way things are run in the country. Children, over a last few years, you can see the interest of the voters in election, or election related activities has been increasing, you can see. This was seen in 2004 election. More than 1/3 voters took part in a election campaign related activities. More than half of the people identified themselves as being close to or belong to one or another party. Out of every 7 voters is a member. Out of every 1 out of every 7 voter is a member of some political party. See, the involvement of the people is increasing. This shows us the interest of the voters in election activities. It has increased. Right now, children? So, children, with this, I'll stop over here in this class. And we all will meet in the next class with the same lesson. Till then, take care and thank you.